welcome to another Stitch Upon a Time video tutorial. Today I'm going to be making the Calista bra for you. I'm only using the very basic pattern options today because I'm also going to show you how to add 1/4 inch elastic into the arm seams for a little bit of extra support, and then I'm also going to show you how to add 1 inch elastic into the underbust band for, again, a little bit of additional support. I tend to need a lot of support when I put on a sports bra, and I want to make sure you all can have that same support from such an awesome pattern. So I hope that you all will join me for this video, and I hope that it is helpful to you to see the process played out. All right, so our very first step in making our Calista is making sure that all of our pieces are cut out. I like to do this ahead of time so that I'm not boring you with cutting out every single piece. Make sure that you cut, according to the cutting instructions on the pattern or within the pattern tutorial. Make sure you have all the pieces you need, and any pieces that you might be adding for an adjustment. So I have 2 lining pieces. My lining pieces are black. Because this is a supplex and it's nice and sturdy, I am not adding any power net into this one. The last Calista that I made was made from a really wonderful soft rib knit, but it didn't have the structure that I need to hold me up. And so I added power net into, in between those layers. I won't need that with these fabrics. So then I also have my main fabrics, this is a matching bra to go with the shorts that I showed you all last week. So this is the back piece. Here is my underbust band, and then here's the front piece. So to get started, what we're going to do, we have to attach both pieces at the top here. So we're going to align the pieces right here and just put a little clip like that. And then do the same thing on the other side. All right, so we're gonna do that again with our lining pieces. Make sure you have the right sides facing together, which is a little bit more challenging with these plain black pieces than it is with fabric that has very obvious right and wrong sides, but that's okay. All right. And just align right there again at the top and put a little clip in place. And then we're going to go ahead and sew or serge right along the top, the shoulder seam right here on both the main and the lining. All right, so we have sewn the shoulder seams here. This is the main again, and then we have the lining here. Right, shoulder seams are sewn. Okay, so then our next step is to sew the 2 pieces together at the neckline. So what I will do, move that out of the way. We're going to lay these out flat just like this, and then you're going to put, like that, your front piece like that, right sides facing with your back piece, or your lining piece, your main and lining, not front and back, just like that. And we're going to align the shoulder seams first. I always like to line those up first so that they match and don't make everything look all wonky. And then we will line up the front and back center marks. And I usually just eyeball this. I don't get overly into it. I just eyeball it just like that. If you need to add more pins for your comfort, then go ahead and add pins in between at the 8th points right here and here. If you don't, that's fine. We're going to go ahead and sew around the neckline here to attach the 2 pieces. All right, so we have sewn through the neckline here now, as you can see. So now what we need to do is turn the right sides of the fabric out so that the wrong sides are enclosed. And I usually just sort of shove it all through the neck hole like that. And I'm going to turn it over because I like to keep the main fabric up for no particular reason. You really don't have to keep the main fabric up. It's not that big of a deal. It really isn't. And then I just sometimes clip those little sides there just to keep things in good reference, I guess, for lack of a better term. I just like to see where things are and get things all straightened out before I make them all along, you know, before I manipulate them again, just so I know that I'm manipulating the correct parts of what I'm working on. Because I'm about to roll this whole thing up, but I want to get it all straightened out first. Okay, we're all straightened out now. Looks awesome. So now what I'm going to do is sew the seams right here in the where your arm is going to go. So to do this, I'm going to use something called the burrito roll method, which means we're going to start rolling up this side over here, and then we'll bring this side over and enclose it. In theory, you don't actually have to roll. Sometimes I just sort of flip it over and call it good. I am going to take this clip off for that though, because that won't fit. So we just start rolling just like that. It's super, super easy. Just like that. And then I'm going to take this clip off. And then what we do with this side over here is we bring it around, kind of squinch that down there, and bring that lining under so you have the right sides of the lining and the right sides of the main of that shoulder strap facing. And then I'm going to clip that shoulder seam back in place, just like that. And then I'm going to bring this over, and then I'm going to tuck the lining piece of that under so that they're matching up. And I'm going to clip it all along there. I know, mark this date on your calendar. I'm using pins or clips. I do this occasionally. It is something that I do. And we're just going to clip all along here just to make sure it stays in place. Burrito rolls like to get out of place because sometimes you have to put it, and I'm going to do the same thing down here for the back. Lay the front part out, and then I'm going to lift the roll up and tuck the lining under and just bring it down here and clip it in place. And then just like I did on the other side, just sort of tuck the rolled up portion out of the way and clip the rest in place. Just like that. So now if you want to add elastic, I spoke about in our Facebook group adding elastic to this seam right here. There are a couple things you can do. You can add it in now, take your elastic. There's not a measurement, but all you're gonna do is take it and apply it. I like to pin or clip at one end and just sort of stretch just a little bit, an arbitrary amount. It's not a particular amount. Usually it's 80 to 90%. It's just enough to kind of give a little bit of resistance and add to the support of the fabric. So you can do that. There are methods of inserting elastic as you serge. I haven't done that, and I'm not overly comfortable with that idea because I don't know that I trust the tension to truly give me the support that I need. The other option is to go ahead and sew your seam and then stitch it into the seam allowance, which you definitely can do with 1/4 inch elastic. It's not too difficult. So I think I'm going to add it in as I serge. I don't use the method where you feed it through. There's some methods where they just like feed it through their machine. I like to get it started and then I just kind of pull gently on it as I'm sewing. You just can't pull too firmly. So I'm not going to add it in here, but when I come back after I have serged this, you'll see that there is elastic in there because I do like the little extra bit of support that it provides. All right, you can see that our seam is all sewn here, and you can see the end is curling a little bit because I do have that elastic in there. You can see the seam is very stretchy because there's that elastic. So now what we have to do is pull out the rest of our bra from our little roll here, and you just excuse me, gently tug, gently. You don't want to break any seams, but sometimes it likes to get a little stuck. Oh, it really doesn't want to, it's not happy with me right now. Let me see. Hopefully I didn't catch it. I don't feel like I caught it in a seam. Let's try the other way. There it goes. And just keep pulling until we're all right sides out. Sometimes you have to pull a little bit less gently. And that is fine. All right. So now you know what we need to do, right? We have to burrito. I'm going to turn it around so it's easier for me. Oh, wait, no. It is easier this way, right? Yeah. Because I'm going to burrito roll again. Another thing you can do if you do want extra support is put elastic in your neckline also, just to do both seams. I didn't do that. I'm not going to go back and do that. I just wanted to make sure I showed y'all how to do that. Okay, so lay it out all nice again, right? And then come over here and we start rolling. Roll, roll, roll. Try to roll tightly if you can. It just makes it a little bit easier. Roll until you get over to the other shoulder seam here. And then again, we're just gonna tuck it in. Just like that. This one should be a little easier because we did take out some seam allowance. Let me get some clips over here. Oops. All right, we're just gonna clip right there. And then we're gonna do the same thing over here where I flip over the main piece and tuck under the lining. And then clip there at the side. Keep it in place. And then get everything in there just really tucked in well. Tuck it all away. Because if you get that stuck in a seam, you're gonna be really upset. You're gonna have to unpick so much to get it out and then re-sew everything. And then you have less seam allowance to deal with and it gets harder. So you don't wanna do that. All right, and then over here, again, flip over that main fabric and tuck under the lining fabric and line it up here, the edge, and then really tuck it in well. Get in there. Make sure it's lined up so it doesn't get all bunchy. And we'll put more clip here. Like that. And then we're ready to sew this seam. I'm also going to add elastic to this one so that things aren't a little off center and funky. All right, so the second arm opening is sewn. You can see I had a little bit of an issue here. I didn't quite catch all the main fabric the first go through, so I did have to go back and adjust that. That happens sometimes, especially on a narrower seam where you have, you know, more bulk inside of there, and it's totally fine. Just go back and fix it. Not a big deal. And then I'm gonna pull this out. Again, it might need a little bit more encouraging because it is a little bit of a smaller opening, but that's okay. We will be very encouraging, right? Just be super kind and encouraging. And tell it, come on out, it's fine, you're okay. There it comes. All right, so now you can see we have the whole bra and the neck and the arms are all sewn. So the next thing we need to do is the side seams. So these are super easy. All you're gonna do is find the seam over here between the main and the lining, and the seam over here between the main and the lining, and match them up. Make sure they're not twisted. Whatever you do, do not twist them. Just like that. And then match up the seams there. And then match up the seams here, like that. Super easy, right? You can see I have the main and the lining matched up, and all we're gonna do is sew right here along that. So you can see I have this seam sewn right here. We're just gonna do the exact same thing on the other side, and then I will show you the next step. Okay, I have both side seams sewn now. So now what we need to do is turn our bra so it's right sides out, like that. Look at that, I even cut my fabric correctly so it's right sides up. It's amazing. Like that. You can see how the elastic is kind of making the fabric not want to lay flat, and that is perfectly fine. It is totally normal for it to do that, and when you put it on, it's going to stretch out and it's going to be nice and smooth, and it's going to hold you up very well. So let me get these all situated. I just like to make sure it is exactly how it's supposed to be and not twisted at this point, so I can go back in and fix anything if I need to, but it is all straight and nothing is twisted, which is awesome. So you can see that this bottom part is curved. That is because I cut on the purple line, because my my underbust and my full bust are more than 4.5 inches in difference on their measurements. And so this gives you a fuller cup and more coverage. I also cut on the blue line here for extra coverage. I do this for all of my Calistas, and I'm considering maybe doing an FBA for my next one, just because I wouldn't mind a little bit extra coverage for me. However, this provides great coverage, and you will see, I'll show photos of that as well, of it worn. Well, not here necessarily, but definitely in our Facebook group. So go check them out there, and you can see the fit and why I might want to do an FBA, a full bust adjustment, on my next Calista. However, it's time to finish this bra. So the next step is to take our underbust band. I haven't cut this one yet. I might trim a little bit. Let's see. Okay, since I normally, if this is all I was using for support, I might trim it down just a little bit to really hold me up. However, I am going to be putting 1-inch elastic inside of my underbust band, so I am not going to trim this down. I will use a smaller elastic length though to really bump up the level of support that I get. So the first thing we need to do to create our underbust band, obviously we have it cut out, that's done. However, we are going to sew along this short seam here. Make sure that your band is, the fabric is right sides facing. This does not have a lining, it's just one piece. And so we're just going to sew right down here. All right, that seam there is sewn. So now we need to turn our band right sides out. I do this by taking the top and bottom of this seam, flattening that seam out, matching them up, and then I come down here and I grab the top and bottom as well. I pinch, I pull, and there's the band. And then I make sure it lays nice and flat. This is the seam. I like to put the seam center back, so I'm gonna find some halfway points, eyeball some halfway points here, and just make sure that that seam is at the center back. It's where it's most comfortable for me. It digs in less there. I have, the band touches and pushes into my body less there. I have softer flesh everywhere else, and it doesn't, it kind of can dig in if you put it in a place where it does that. All right, So when we attach this band, because I am adding that 1-inch elastic, I am going to leave myself a 2-inch hole to insert that. So I'm going to clip this on, but I'm going to mark off a place. I like to do it at the back where I am going to insert the elastic. So I'm going to turn this over so it's easier for you to see. Turn that around like that. And then I'm going to take this back seam and I'm just going to align it with the center back. Oops, I grabbed part of the front part of the band. Just like this. I don't always get super technical or mathematical when I'm calculating or finding the center back, center front, etc. Sometimes I just like to eyeball it. It really, if it's not perfectly centered and you're making it for yourself, it's not that big of a deal. And so I don't like to put too much emphasis on it because it doesn't matter as long as your band is stretched evenly. So I have this, sorry, my arm is in the way there. I have this pulled out to show you that center front point. So that's what I'm holding on to. And I am going to align that with the center front here. Just like that. If you have these, they're called like clamshells, I think. I like to use these especially for things that I'm going to be stretching. They tend to grip a little more because they have more grip area. So then I take my bra and I turn it sideways. And then I like to bring my band up above the bra. Let's see. I'm going to clip those in place. I like to clip the side seams in place just to make sure that things stay where they're supposed to be. I take it and I just pull it until the bra, oh, my clip got caught. All right, I take it until I pull it just until the bra meets the width of the band. And then I like to push it down. And then I just walk my fingers in. And this is now the halfway point of your band it's where it's supposed to be. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Find until it's flat, until the bra and the lining fabric and stuff are flat against the waist or the underbust band. And then I just walk my fingers right in, and that is where that band needs to be. It's where it evens everything out and it makes sure that the band is stretched evenly all the way around your bra. Just like that. All right, so now I'm going to sew it. I will probably, let me mark it off. I will leave my 2-inch gap right here. I'll just put another little clip there just to make sure that I don't close that in and I remember to leave space for my elastic. All right, I'm gonna go sew this and then I will be back to show you. Okay, so I have my band all sewn on. You can see my 2-inch gap, approximately 2-inch gap, right there that I preserved to insert my elastic. Here's my elastic. I like to thread things. Some people use a bodkin. I am still just using a safety pin. You can see it there on the end of my elastic. So then I'm just gonna take my safety pin and put it inside the band there. And then I'm just gonna thread it through. I'm gonna go all the way around. Just like that. And when you do this, you wanna make sure that you are not twisting your band at all. It can be very easy to get the elastic twisted. It can be very easy to get your elastic twisted inside of your band, especially if your elastic is smaller than your band, which mine is here. I like to use an elastic that is smaller than my band. This is, let's see, this is one inch elastic. And I just prefer that. It makes it so much easier to thread it through. This 1-inch elastic will still give me plenty of support, and it's not so much smaller than the band that it'll make it look funky or, distort the look of it. Sometimes if you use it in a shoulder and it's significantly smaller than the strap that you have going over your shoulder, it can distort the look of the strap because the elastic will be doing more work than the fabric. and then it just gets sort of off kilter. See, it's so fast, we're already almost done. Just keep threading it through. If you're concerned that your elastic will escape the other end, because I've had that happen, I didn't do it here, but what I usually do is just take a clip and just clip my elastic to my band, just like that, or a safety pin. I don't necessarily like to use a safety pin because I don't want holes in my fabric. I don't want holes to start and then more holes to develop. I usually just sort of leave the gathers as long as the band will tolerate it, and then I just watch the other end of my elastic to make sure that it's not starting to escape and get lost inside my band, because then I have to start all over again, and just, you know, nobody wants to start all over again. It always feels so defeating and frustrating when you have to redo work that you had already done. Okay, almost there. Adjust those gathers just so I can get it where I need, and then I'm going to reach inside my band here, if I can get between just those two fabrics. Sometimes they like to be sneaky, and grab my pin and pull that elastic out like that. And now I'm going to put these together like this. I'm going to grab a clip. Actually, I'm going to pin them together. Like that. And then I am going to take and stretch. I like to hold on to this so I don't lose it. I'm going to stretch my band. Again, this is checking to make sure I don't have any twists in my band, and it looks like I do, which is another reason I like to keep my elastic smaller than the hole that it is being sewn into. Let's see. No, we're still twisted. Hang on. We'll figure this out. Oh no, we're not twisted. We're fine. The band is twisted. There you go. You can see it's not twisted. That's awesome. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go sew the ends of my elastic together. I run them through my serger both ways, and that has held really well. You can also do just a little zigzag stitching, and then I'm going to sew this hole closed, and then we're going to be done. And just like that, we're all done. You can see the band is all sewn on, my elastic is in, and I'm ready to wear it and have a great workout. Or lounge around my house and read a book. They've been happening equally as often lately. So, I love these. Look, I have to show you this because it's my favorite. It's called a pin puff, and it's magnetic. And I can attach it, there's a clip so I can attach it to stuff if I wanted to. But all my pins just stick on there. They're magnetic. And also clips stick right on there because they have metal too. I love it. I have more ordered because it's so helpful, and then my pins don't go everywhere. If I drop this, I'll only have to pick up like one instead of worrying about stepping on pins for 5 months because I can't find them all. So I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I hope that y'all are subscribing to our channel and staying up to date with our updates and watching for our new videos as they come out weekly. And if you have a pattern that you would like me to see, that you would like to see me sew, or any particular options for this pattern or another pattern that you would like to see done, go ahead and leave that in the comments, and I will add it to the list of videos to make for this channel. I hope that y'all have a great day and that this was helpful, and I will see you back here next week. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me and sewing along with the Calista bra today. I hope that this video was helpful for you. If you have any recommendations for videos or options for different patterns that you would like to see have a video tutorial created for, just go ahead and drop that in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you will always be up to date with our most recent video tutorials. Have a great day.